WWE in many of its past years has struggled with getting the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble match right. The company has wrongly booked several guys to win the match in the past, for instance, Batista in 2014. But the company has surprised us many times with the right winner, like Drew McIntyre in 2020. Regardless of how the company has a tough time figuring out the right winner for the Royal Rumble match, it's no secret that fans cherish every single second of the match every January. With 2024 on its way, things are getting more intriguing as we approach the Royal Rumble event. Last time, we predicted the possible winners for the Women's Royal Rumble, and today, we'll be looking at 3 superstars who could be winning the Men's Royal Rumble match. Let's get into it. LA Knight. Oh yeah, he's definitely a top contender to win the Men's Royal Rumble match. LA Knight, without a shadow of a doubt, is the most over guy in the company, if not the entire industry. LA Knight should have won the men's Money in the Bank ladder match this year, but we all know Vince wouldn't have let Triple H pull the trigger on that. LA Knight wouldn't even have been on this list as his push was at the risk of coming to an end once the WWE and UFC merger was complete, because many thought that Vince was going to take back creative control. Now that the merger is complete and Vince has gotten into more legal troubles, LA Knight's push can continue without any roadblocks. As long as there's no sign of Vince taking back power, LA Knight will remain in discussion as the possible winner of the Men's Royal Rumble match, and rightfully so. Ever since he got rid of the Max Dupree gimmick, the man has been on fire. His feud with the late great Bray Wyatt further established him as a proper star. His recent feud with The Miz did wonders for the guy, and everything seems to be going right for the megastar. His promos feel natural, and he can definitely perform inside the ring, further giving reasons that he should be world champion come next year. Best case scenario for LA Knight, if he wins the Men's Royal Rumble match, is that he goes after Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship. As I've mentioned that LA Knight can perform in the ring, he still needs to have that one match that solidifies him as a proper main eventer. His tag team match with John Cena was a solid launching pad, but a feud with Seth Rollins can give him that push he needs, and Seth is one of the most selfless wrestlers on the roster. He would have no problem putting over LA Knight on the grandest stage of them all. Speaking of putting over new stars, there's one guy in NXT that could potentially win the whole thing. Bron Breakker. If Bron's NXT run has indicated anything, it is that he is meant to become one of the biggest professional wrestlers in the entire world. It's mind-boggling that Bron is just 25 years old, and he carries himself perfectly. He has got the kind of charisma that many superstars wish for, and quite frankly, that is the kind of charisma WWE prefers in its talent in most cases. You can make an argument that WWE would try to push Bron as the next face of the company at some point in the near future. But there's no need to rush things, as he is still young and has a long way to go. However, I believe that Bron is ready for the main roster. And what better way would be for him to arrive on the scene than to win the Royal Rumble match? It's true, oh it's damn true, that many people don't keep up with NXT, but they do know a little bit about Bron, as he has made appearances on Raw before. By bringing him up the time we get to the actual event, many would get to know about Bron, and WWE would instantly create a new and fresh star by having Bron win the Men's Royal Rumble match. This would certainly be a breath of fresh air for both the fans and WWE. If Bron does win the Men's Royal Rumble match, the Seth Rollins scenario applies to him too. Having Bron face Seth at WrestleMania would end up being a great match, as most Seth Rollins matches usually are. If Damian Priest is successful, able to cash in his Money in the Bank contract on Rollins, then Bron versus Damian doesn't sound bad either. In both cases, WWE would end up creating a new star. Now, you must be thinking, why am I predicting these potential winners to face Seth at WrestleMania? That's because it's likely that Roman Reigns will either be facing The Rock or Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania next year. I could have included The Rock on this list, but he doesn't have to win the match to face Roman at WrestleMania, which could realistically take place next year. Cody Rhodes has the best odds at winning the match, as he would be finishing his story against Roman sooner rather than later. But if I'm being truly honest, judging by the current situation, the next entrant on this list may have the best chance of winning the Men's Royal Rumble match, and I'm willing to bet my entire bank account on him. Gunther. Gunther winning the Men's Royal Rumble match not only makes the most sense, but it is the decision that WWE should make come January. With him now becoming the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, Gunther is on his way to becoming a modern-day legend. Think about it. Ever since he came to WWE in 2019, he has given us classic after classic. His Intercontinental title run is full of excellent matches. Imagine what he would be accomplishing as the World Champion. Roman's championship run is nearing its end, and WWE needs a top heel to replace him soon. Gunther is that individual, and quite possibly the right individual. If Shinsuke Nakamura's feud with Seth told us anything, it is that Seth's back is deteriorating. Seth has admitted his severe real-life back issues to Logan Paul in Logan's Impulsive podcast. This is where Gunther steps in, setting up a storyline that leads to a match at WrestleMania where Gunther completely demolishes Seth's back and takes the World Heavyweight Championship away from him would be great storytelling. Let's also not forget the fact that Gunther claimed the record for the longest time spent in a traditional 30-man Royal Rumble match this past year. Gunther is on his way to reaching even bigger heights, and that begins with winning the Men's Royal Rumble match. As of this very moment, it feels like WWE is moving forward with the idea of Gunther winning the Men's Royal Rumble match. It would be even more fascinating to see if Gunther does that while holding the Intercontinental Championship. Only time will tell if this prediction becomes a reality when the road to WrestleMania begins in January. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe for more.